This is kind of interesting part of the movie is we know right from the beginning that Nicole Kidman is doomed. How did you feel about that?
Well, it felt familiar in the sense that I know that that was a commonly used, I hate to use the word trope, but of that period of time. Now, of course, we learn through the course of the story that Satine, the star of the Moulin Rouge dance hall, is afflicted with a disease we know now as tuberculosis. And, if you're familiar with any storyline that has a dying lead, whether that's Romeo and Juliet or maybe it's Joan of Arc, you get used to, oh well, I'm learning all about this person and they want me to fall in love with them just like their co-star, so something has got to happen. So I am a little careful when that information is right up front.
Hmm. Well, the structure of it is basically Moulin Rouge is besides a love story, but it's a tragedy, and it follows the classic tropes of a tragedy. And it did it even though I knew that at the very beginning that Nicole Kidman was something bad was going to happen to her. In fact, we know she's in the first few minutes of the movie. We know that she interesting. This debuted at the Cannes Film Festival in 2001. It was the first movie anybody saw. It's the fifth film to use the name Moulin Rouge. I can only think of a 1928 movie and the 1952 movie. What the third one is, I have no idea. Um, there were 300 costumes because incredible sets. The costuming in this movie also won an Academy Award. 300 costumes created. 80 people were employed to create these costumes. And there were several injuries during the movie. John Leguizamo portrayed Toulouse-Lautrec, who was a very, very, very short man. And as to do his scenes, he did most of them on his knees, and he injured his back because he was constantly on his knees. Nicole Kidman, I think, fell or something, but she busted a rib pretty bad, and they had to totally suspend filming
Oh yeah. Now,
for a while.
now a note on that. I'm not sure that it was so much an injury as it was she was dressing in period, meaning the ladies of the day wore corsets, and
Oh,
Nicole
that's right.
Nicole decided to go along with this, and she achieved a 19-inch waist.
Yeah,
Something
and
that,
she broke a rib.
yeah, that's something that probably wouldn't be allowed nowadays.
I don't know. Anyways. So, but I understand she also did something to an ankle, and she also really did fall from some height. Uh, so, jeepers creepers. There's a lot of scenes that she actually shot while she was in a wheelchair. And of course, she's only shown from the chest up, so you'd never know it. Ha! Lord. So, um, all I can say, DJ, you chose this movie. By the way, any reason why you chose it?
I just have a fondness for it because of the romance that the director just brings to the imagery. You watch it and you understand that there's probably some historical elements to this. Maybe the whole story isn't truthful, but you feel like you've been transported to another time and place. And I think that that's a mark of a good director, someone who has the imagination to take you on a journey and make you feel like you've lived a part of history.
Yeah, so we've been joined by Crone in the chat room. Hi, Crone. Glad you could join us. DJ, the sense of place was palpable because of the sets, and also this amazing way the camera had of like we're way way back. We're looking at the Eiffel Tower, and we can see Paris below. And the camera zooms in on this bohemian district, and I felt like I knew exactly where it was, and I felt like I knew exactly what it looked like. It was amazing the way it created the sense of time and place.
Yeah. Now you were mentioning a moment ago, and we'll be, getting to the end of the show soon here, that there have been other films that use the name Moulin Rouge. Now, most importantly, I think that folks should know that there was a film done in '52, which Toppy and I both have watched. I watched at his suggestion because he'd already seen it recently, but it starred Zsa Zsa Gabor in the early days of her career. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if she had less than 10 minutes on the screen in this.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was basically a biopic or biopic on Toulouse, the Frenchman who was played by John Leguizamo in this rendition. But he was a artist of many venues, including painting. And in that story, which is supposed to be truer to life, he had an affinity for people from another walk of life. He came from a privileged background. His family had a distant relation to royalty, and well, his parents were a little too closely related, so he had some health issues as a result of
Well,
that.
yeah. Actually, well, it may have had something to do. It was really more that he fell down some stairs and he broke many many bones in his legs, and they just didn't know how to patch him back together. So, as he grew up, the rest of his uh, um, uh, to an adult, his legs didn't exactly grow. So,
And his affinity for the other walks of life were because that's not how he was raised. He came from privilege, and he was fascinated by people who maybe had to earn their living. And as a result of that, he took a liking to ladies of the night. And in Moulin Rouge 2001, the film we're discussing tonight, they've sort of blended in elements of Toulouse into the lead character Christian, played by Ewan McGregor. And it's sort of a take that's a prettier representation for today's audience because it helps when the person is easy on the eyes, and you're going to sit through the story longer. And then, of course, you've got all the flash and the bang and the music. I mean, they brought in some top performers for that remake of the Patti LaBelle song, by the way, folks. Lady Marmalade was a song from 1974. Patti LaBelle recorded the original, and she claimed, because she was a church going lady, she said, I don't know what I was saying. I don't speak a word of French. And
ah,
of course,
ah,
the one of the lines in it is in French, Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir, which basically means, will you sleep with me tonight?
yeah, and folks, stick around because we'll go out with that song. You got to hear it as it's used in Moulin Rouge. So yeah, basically what DJ's saying is the 1950 film, 52 Moulin Rouge, is really a love story where Toulouse-Lautrec is hopelessly infatuated with one of the performers at Moulin Rouge, and he's there nightly, just uh, uh, and sketching and doing sketches for what would become his paintings. And folks, Google Toulouse-Lautrec and look at his
Oh
paintings,
my God, so fascinating.
because that's generally his paintings are what was used for the set designers, the costume designers to to bring Moulin Rouge to life, because his paintings are really unusual for the time, and they just capture this nightlife like you wouldn't believe. So take a look at his paintings, Toulouse-Lautrec, and
Just
you'll get a sense of this theater life.
He was a very important artist in French history. He was friends with Van Gogh later in his life and also with Oscar Wilde.
Hmm, that I did not know. So DJ, what what other movies would similar to this that you would put on your snack tray
Okay.
for?
Well, some other things that you might enjoy if you enjoyed Moulin Rouge. I've got a boatload of these, folks, and I think I'll start off with something I don't have in the notes, Toppy. There was a
Mhm.
movie done in 2012 called Mirror Mirror, and it starred Julia Roberts in the role of an evil witch queen. And this is basically a modern retelling of the Snow White story. Now,
Hmm.
Mirror Mirror is important because there are a few very beautiful elements of Bollywood influence in this film. In fact, it's done of a man by a man of Far Eastern descent, Tarsem Singh. And well, let's just take a quick look here. What it says here about Mr. Singh, really quick. He's had 15 acting credits, and this includes the 2012 Mirror Mirror with Julia Roberts. So moving on, some other films I thought you might enjoy from this setting of time. There was a movie with Leo DiCaprio that worked with Baz Luhrmann in 2002. So the year after this, and it was called The Gangs of New York. Now that was directed by Martin Scorsese, the legend, and it also starred Daniel Day Lewis, who more recently played a rather award-nominated film about former President Abraham Lincoln, and James Broadbent. Now, we didn't get to talk about Mr. Broadbent much, but he was the showrunner. He owned the Moulin Rouge, and he is an actor of English descent. He's been in few things that I just adore, and he's been in Harry Potter as well. Look up Jim Broadbent. He's one of those actors that if a movie were to be done about the story of my life, I would have Mr. Broadbent playing my father. And let's see, just one other thing I was going to mention on the note of tuberculosis, which is what unfortunately Satine passed from in the end of the film. Spoilers! There is a 1948 film starring Fred McMurray, who you might know from My Three Sons, and a young Frank Sinatra, called Miracle of the Bells. Now, the star of this film is an understudy to a woman who was playing in a movie, a fictional movie about Joan of Arc. And she's the understudy. Well, she gets to step up to the plate when the understudy throws a fit, and they're not able to pay her what she wants. So the understudy, she saves the day, plays the part. Everyone falls in love with her, but wait, she's got tuberculosis, so well, you get the ending. Beautiful film, Miracle of the Bells from 1948. And what say you, Toppy? What would you like to add to the snack tray? Toppy? Are you there, Toppy?
Forgive me, my mute button was on. So you might want to catch some of the other musicals of the time. Uh, we used to call them rock operas. So there was Jesus Christ Superstar, there was Tommy, there was The Wall, Rent, certainly. As far as musicals go, with a more modern bent, more modern than like Carousel is what I'm saying. uh, you also, I would also definitely check out Cabaret with Liza Minnelli and Michael York because some 25, 30, 25 years after Moulin Rouge, The height of expressionist theater was going on in Germany at that time, not France. And Cabaret is, of course, extremely well known, but another uh, wonderful story with wonderful musical numbers, just like Moulin Rouge.
Okay, so during the break there, I had to run to my jacket and grab a mint, but I found a piece of paper in my jacket pocket. Now, this I
You,
find
you did.
this is quite odd because I was only away from my coat a few minutes, so someone must have snuck into the theater. But here it is. I found this note, and well, Toppy, I'm going to go ahead and open it up here.
Okay.
Okay, so I think it's from Gertie. It looks like her handwriting.
Uh, she's still on house arrest. I mean, she's still on bed rest, isn't she?
Now, here it says.
Um, Hi, this is Gertie, as you can tell from my voice. Wish I could be there tonight. I mean, gee whiz, Moulin Rouge is right up my alley, you know what I mean? I mean, I used to do all that kind of stuff when I was in vaudeville. Hmm. Anyways, well, the doc says I gotta stay off my feet for a few more weeks, on account I fell down the stairs. Hmm. Anyways, hey, you know what? These new 3D printed casts, they're super cool. Mine looks just like fishnets. Anyways, well, look, you guys, just be careful in picking out my stand in. It's a small town, and well, the walls have ears.
Oh,
Oh,
geez.
well,
I didn't think she had it in her. It's always the quiet ones.
I don't know. Uh, I'm sensing a connection between Stutzi, who introduced the show today.
You know,
We
she
discovered her. Yeah,
she did say her name was Blair. I
yeah.
wonder.
Do you remember the poster in the lobby, right?
Oh, you know what? I get maybe. Well,
We may have discovered a past between Stutzi and well, our Gertie that we didn't know about. I don't know what kind of can of worms we've opened,
dun
DJ.
dun dun.
Hey, there you go. Listen, folks, we're gonna haul out those magical coins and put it in the gumball machine. See what comes out. Hmm.
Okay, go ahead and open that up for me,
Hmm.
sir.
All right. Well, next time, folks, it's an early '90s action film. Two besties take an impromptu road trip and stir up trouble with the law. It stars two legendary ladies, Susan Sarandon. That was after she'd been in a coven with Cher, but before she played a lawyer in the South. It also starred Gina Davis after she made over furry aliens and before she joined an all girl baseball league. So join us, folks, next time on Friday, July 19th for a special summer send off as we discuss the trivia behind 1991's Thelma and Louise.
Oh my goodness. You know, Toppy, I don't think I've seen that one. And what a perfect way to send us off on the summer with a road trip movie.
And you know who recommended this? My Aunt Tabby.
Oh, goodness.
Yep,
And
yep.
I have it on good authority that we might have a couple of familiar guests next time.
Well, because she knows it so well, my Aunt Tabby and her pal from overseas, her best friend, Bettina Dupre, will be joining us on the next episode. So, DJ, just a final word about Moulin Rouge for me is I had never seen it. I thank you so much for uh, suggesting this movie for Matinee Minutiae because I probably never would have seen it. And I have to tell you, folks, sincerely, I watched it this morning for the first time. And I haven't had such a positive movie experience in a long, long time. I was so surprised and delighted and amazed by this movie that I just can't think of the last time I was that impressed and loved a movie so much as Moulin Rouge.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. It is always a privilege when we get to introduce each other to the magic of a story that we fell in love with.
Yeah, yeah.
So before we get
Uh,
going, I just wanted to make a quick mention, some Univaz business here. We wanted to thank Moose P, who's been following us and commenting on some of our posts. And it
yes, thank you, Moose P.
Yeah, and we want to thank Auntie Vera Charles over there at veraspeaks.net. She chimed in on our episode about Duel with Steven Spielberg directing. Toppy mistakenly said Karen Valentine was the actress, and it was actually Karen Black.
Oops.
And then just to round things out, folks, we have a new member to the Univaz family. We have a new show. It's called By Furious. It's by a lady who produces a few of her own shows, Charmaine Fury. Go ahead and look for By Furious in the Univaz Auditorium. And her company is called Mixed, or no, it's oh, I think it's Main Fury. Anyways, look for By Furious. Bifurious. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, Mr. Archie Cruiser. Thank
Yeah,
you
I just
for.
want to give him a shout out because he had told us that when he found out we were doing Duel a couple episodes back, he was delighted and he said, you know, I could write a college report on that movie because RT Cruiser's into cars and things. And so, RT Cruiser, if you listened and you're listening now, we'd love to know how we did with our episode on Duel. So let us know.
All right. Well, I think it's time to lower the lights here and close up shop. Don't forget those keys. Gertie's trusting us not to take any candy. So
Yeah,
empty out your
shout
pockets.
out to Gertie. Hope you're feeling better. And the DJ, I guess we'll find out about Stutzy
Yes.
and Gertie later.
And a round of applause for those who showed up in our chat room tonight.
Yep.
Say
We
good.
had our pal Tommy, who comes every week. We had our friend, the ever mysterious Cronehaven, and we had briefly your husband, Billy.
And
So, folks, that's it.
and someone snuck in by the name of Tin Cricket. Hopefully you listened and maybe you'll stick around next time. So say
Yeah.
goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, and DJ, take us out with a clip four, I believe. It's the whole musical number there, and we'll just go out with that, folks. Stick around and hear it, and then we'll be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Moulin Rouge.
folks read your token junk mail tonight and here they'd like to say their words.
I have a voice.
I have a voice.
You have a voice.
You have a voice.
We have a voice.
We have a voice.
Unique voices in podcasting.
UnivazPods.net.
All right, freaking everybody has a voice, okay? Leave me alone. Oh, I'm sorry.
One of the many voices behind the curtain.
I just want to see what Crone is typing in.
Certainly, we
Let's
can
see.
hang out.
I got insider background on TNL. I've refused to see it. I'll miss number 20. TNL. The hell is TNL? I got insider background on TNL.
I know what TNA is. I don't know what TNL is.
But she'll miss number 20.
I
I'm not sure what that is.
don't know either. I've allegedly dropped off the stream, and I am just.
Oh, you're off the streams. Okay, so I'm not talking to Crone.
Well, I mean, you're talking to her in the chat room, I would assume.
Well, no, I thought I was still talking to her. Anyways,
Um,
I guess
I'm just looking for the file from tonight, making sure it recorded, which it usually does. I have a file that is an hour and 31 minutes, and it has, yay, tonight's date on it. All right. So, with your
Cool.
permission, I'm going to duck out of the room for a couple minutes, and I will be back.
Go ahead.
All right.
I'll be right here. Hello?
Hello.
Voulez-vous coucher moi ce soir? Voulez-vous coucher moi ce soir? Do 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 do. Voulez-vous coucher moi?
I'm almost back.
Wait. Oh, okay. Yay. I was just singing. Voulez-vous coucher moi ce soir?
You know, I learned that this. Well, let me think of how I want to say this. That was one of the songs that apparently my sisters knew because let me think how old they are. They're each at least 9 years older than me.
Ooh, okay.
So that would have been when they were kids. But there was another song that was done a few years later. Oh, let me end the stream.